Previously on
Pree Da Production with your host, Majaro.
All the content creators, they're saying the same thing. Week after week after game, we're saying Casemiro looks past it. We're saying Bruno Fernandes is moving mad. Can't keep the ball, loses the ball in the worst places. They're saying Rashford is finished. We need a clear out, and I'm saying it. Ten Hag out.
He said it! He said it!
3 weeks later.
Let's fucking go! Kobe Mainu! The two academy. Oh, drink that water bottle! Drink that water! Yo, stop Poseidon, what are you telling me?
Well, that takes aged nicely.
You are now listening to Pree Da Production with your host, Majaro.
What is up, my tribal people? Welcome back to another video on the Pree Da Production YouTube channel. I'm your host, Majaro, aka Midge, and you already know what I'm going to say. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Just trying to grow the community, and by sharing this with your friends and family, that goes a long way in making this happen. And if you want to show more support, leaving a super thanks, it's very much appreciated. Now let's get into it. Wow, Manchester United are now the FA Cup winners of 2024. Wow, I did not see this coming. But what does that actually mean? It means that we, in our worst season, have gone to Wembley, smashed Manchester City, and have now come out on the other side as FA Cup winners, meaning we are going to the Europa League, meaning we have more money in our coffers, meaning we have had a better season than most of the teams that finish above of us. That's crazy. We've had a better season than Chelsea, had a better season than Arsenal, had a better season than Aston Villa, had a better season than Newcastle, and only a couple of weeks ago I was screaming Erik Ten Hag out. I'm sorry to say, I wasn't familiar with your game. Nah, I was though, but I just didn't like how it looked. Wow, where do I start? Let's go back to the week before the FA Cup final. Speculation, is he going, is he staying? You know, the season's over now. We lost, 5 out of the last 10 games, and we've only recently getting into good form, mixing up the lineups, mixing up the formations, starting players, dropping players. It felt like the last week was just up in the air. We didn't know what was going to happen, what performance we were going to get, who's fit, who's not. And then 24 hours, news breaks that regardless of the result, Erik Ten Hag is done. He's finished. He's out of here. And instead of focusing on the game, everyone was focusing on the manager's job. I mean, we've been in this limbo, ambiguous stage for close to 6 months now. And when I made that video basically saying Erik Ten Hag out, it had come off bad results. Especially that Chelsea result. After we lost that basketball game, we were just free falling. There was no chance we were catching anyone. We lost that 6-pointer to Chelsea. And every game since, instead of recouping, as many points as you could, it was just loss. There's no chance you're getting top 4. There's no chance you're getting top 6. You'd be even lucky to be in a conference at this stage. And that's when I was finished. I was saying, Ten Hag, he's decided, he's chosen not to adapt. And now he's going to have to perish for it. He's chosen not to, bring wingers in, compact the midfield, stop pressing as high because we don't have the players to do that. Stop playing, an aggressive midfield, trying to break the lines, but instead your lines are being broken like no one's business. Stop doing that and consolidate what you might have in a game. No, he still sticks to playing his way, which isn't the way he used to play at Ajax, because weeks later after I released my video, he started to confirm all the things I was saying. He doesn't have the players at Ajax. He hasn't got the midfielders. He hasn't got the defenders that he would usually have for that position to play that way of football. So I was just finished. I had wiped my hands with him. I was like, you know what, he's not the guy I thought he was. You know, it's just not going to work out. It's best he leaves because we've got nothing to fight for. It's the end of the season. We're not going to get anything. And then we get to Wembley and we pull a blinder. Players playing out of their skin. Bruno Fernandes being the captain he should have been this whole season. Leading by example. There was no pettiness. There was no petulance. There was none of that. It was just straight business from these guys. He said he needed his players back. Lisandro Martinez came back fit. Rafael Varane fit. We had serviceable fullbacks. Rashford played amazingly. He put in shift. He contributed. Rasmus Haaland did his thing coming off the bench. Like, these players that he was saying needed to be back showed why they were missed. Completely showed why they were missed. I was wrong about him. Because now, he can rightfully say, well, with all my players back, look at what we did. And he's right. It was an unprecedented injury-stricken season. We had 60 different types of injuries, whether it's recurring injuries, whether it's new injuries. You know, players like Luke Shaw constantly, you know, in the operating room or on the medical table because of his terrible injury that I had a couple of years back when he started at Manchester United. He's just never been the same since. Lisandro Martinez, just bad luck. Rafael Varane, constantly on the medical table. Casemiro was in and out of the season. Who else? Kobbie Mainoo missed half the season. If we had him at the start, where would we be? We could say the same with a lot of our players. Mason Mount, this new signing, he's barely kicked a ball, honestly. It's been a mystery. And that one game he needed to adapt and change up the instructions. He did it and he got the result he wanted. And we beat City, and it wasn't no smash and grab. We played football and they just didn't have any answers. They had Doku and that was the only answer. It was a soft goal in my opinion. Onana played amazingly up until that moment. That guy's Walker crisp packet hands, it's just never going to go away. That's just going to be something we have to deal with going forward. Seeing him lift the trophy, I couldn't believe it. It only took me like 5 days to fully realize what we actually did. I was like, wow, he's just changed the season on a dime. Everyone else is in the mud. Newcastle, we're fighting over Dan Ashworth in the mud. You're not even in Europe. That's peak. Chelsea thought they had us when they beat us. You're getting knocked down to the conference, bruv. It's just so. After all the stick we've given it, and the media, oh my god, don't even get started. The media disgraces. After the trophy win, they were asking every question apart from how the game was and what a performance that was. It was like, hope to see you next season. Why didn't you do this earlier? And those are some rightful questions, but this ain't the time to do that. We just won. We just rescued our season. We resurrected our season, and we have something to show for it. It's such a dichotomy. It's like your chips were down and you had given up. You had checked out the season with 5 games to go because there was nothing in it. But that last game defines your season, defines next season, defines these players, defines this manager, and defines the decision that Ineos have to make. And that decision has to be to keep Erik Ten Hag in. He got that win for us. Now he deserves to stay. I know I said Erik Ten Hag out, but he's proven that he can adapt, at least in this moment. Going forward, there needs to be some more of that. They need to sit down with him and say, Erik Ten Hag, we've listened to what you said over the past couple of months now, and it's been clear that you didn't want to compromise in your situation, the way you wanted to set out and play, because you didn't have your players, because you wanted to, when they were fit, you wanted them to come back and actually adapt seamlessly into the team and, contribute going forward. But it just wasn't the case, and that decision has cost us the season. Going forward, when we have an injury-stricken season like this, hopefully it won't happen for a long time because we will plan better. But if this happens, you have to switch it up and be pragmatic to get the wins. Because all this turmoil behind the scenes, that's what was saving you. Now that we're in, and there's not going to be any change in terms of structure, we've got our plan, and you're supposed to be part of it. Going forward, when that happens, you need to switch it up. There's nothing that's going to be any excuse. You need to switch it up because we know you can. You've done it, and that's the right thing to do, because this ain't the Eredivisie, this is the Premier League, and you need to adapt to every game, every situation that your team is in and that other team is in. So being stubborn, I know the Ajax fans warned us, being stubborn isn't going to cut it. You need to be adaptable, and we need to come together, and you need to be our guy now. And going forward, we're going to back you, we're going to back the players that you want to keep, right? We'll handle recruitment, we'll handle the finances, and you coach the team. You're a coach, not the manager. We'll sort out the team, we'll take anyone out that needs to be taken out, we'll keep the ones that you feel need to stay, and we'll get the adequate replacements and quality and depth. That's the one thing that this season's showed us. We don't have enough quality and depth, because once the Sandro Martinez is done, we're finished. Once Casemiro is finished, we're finished. Once Varane's gone, Luke Shaw's gone, Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, we've got one really good player or decently serviceable player in one position, and we need backups all over the pitch. So, in short, Manchester United, we're like that. Even in our worst season, we're still winning silverware. Hold that Arsenal, hold that Chelsea, hold that Newcastle, and next season, we're gonna be back. Anyways, let me know what you think about this whole season. What do you think about Manchester United? Should Erik Ten Hag stay? Should some of these players stay after that performance? Should some of them still leave? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
I be kidding on my foes, even though I got it all on my own. Success sweet, yeah, it tastes like honeycomb. Dropping blood, tears, and even breaking bones. I'm sipping on Patron while aiming for the throne. I've been to hell